Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Matter Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and it's the crack of dawn here in South Georgia, and we're here as the guests of the W.C. Bradley Company. My good friend Flip Pallett is out turkey hunting this morning. Cameraman John Tarr and I, we're gonna get after some bass this morning, some amazing bass ponds here on this property. So follow along, we're hunting for trophy largemouth on the fly. Yeah, that was fantastic. Ah, that's a little better, yeah. Yeah, nice. This is almost silly. That's where I hooked him right there. Uh-huh.
How can you not like this?
Yeah. Oh my God. This may go down as the best morning of bass fishing I've ever had.
Now, Brian, here's a challenge, baby.
Yeah.
Talk about how it's not hot. Maybe you need to yeehaw, kiss the fish on the head.
Yeah, right.
And that'll make it more comfortable.
Well, yeehaw. Yeah, okay. That's deserving. That's a beautiful fish, worthy of a kiss. Yeah. The bigger bass are out here in the slightly deeper water. Beautiful. This is a fly I've been using for a long, long time. Umpqua markets it, and they call it Umpqua swimming frog. It's controversially a Dave Whitlock pattern / Larry Dahlberg pattern. We won't get into the politics of that. It's a Dahlberg diver in a frog pattern. But I've been selling this fly for, it's absolutely a go-to. In my days of guiding, it was just always one of the first flies I'd put on, especially early in the morning, late in the evening. It's just, I think, probably one of the best frog patterns out there on the market. Yo! That's fine. It's good. We like that. We're hog hunting here. That was a nice fish, but we're hunting for Basszilla. There we go. Oh, this is pretty silly so far.
Yeah.
Pretty silly. That's a little better fish. Man, I love that low pitched thud when these guys hit a surface bug like this. Oh, look at that. Look at the colors on this fish.
Size-wise, we're headed in the right direction.
We are heading in the right direction, man. That is a gorgeous bass. Wow. You really have to learn to stop your cast to be able to hit the targets that you're after. And it's just great fun. I mean, this is, oh, as Flip would say, that's money right there.
And for me, it's going back to my childhood. My grandfather.
Oh, most definitely. My whole family has a long history of bass fishing, and here in Georgia as well. I had family that lived in Atlanta, and we used to come down and visit my dad's brother. And then, you know, my dad and I were into conventional fishing for some time. He had a boat, and we would go out every weekend. So I grew up bass fishing. So yeah, this harkens me back to my childhood days and some of my greatest memories of being on a boat with my dad and pursuing largemouth on a fly. We did a little bit of muskie too. Growing up, was never that successful. I never really had much success with muskie until I started fly fishing for them. And that's another thing that, you know, we're actually finding out over time that muskie may well be even more suited to fly fishing than conventional fishing. We can throw bigger flies with larger profiles than guys can throw with spinning rods. And a lot of folks just don't realize that or don't believe it.
Well, there's certain fish.
Yeah.
I hate when we get interrupted.
Doesn't that suck? Hey, nice fish. Oh, look at that. That could be the cover of the Rolling Stone right there. Oh.
Right.
Yep.
Very nice.
Very See if I can do that. There we go. That's a beautiful bass. That is a fantastic bass. Good Lord, they're clean. Look at the fins are clean. They're good shape. Wow. Well, you know, something that I've always told people is that I think a largemouth bass is, and to a certain extent panfish, they're the smartest dumb fish that there is. And bear with me, they're smart because the fly hits the water and then maybe moves and it gets their attention. So you've seen this, they'll run over and they'll look at it and their fins are going, they're thinking because they're looking up and they got that like a puppy dog, like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And they look at it and let's say it's a chartreuse popper, which nothing better than a chartreuse bluegill popper or a sneaky Pete, right? And so they're looking at it, so they're smart, they're thinking, there's something going on. And then the dumb part comes in because they go, wow, I've never seen anything that color before, because chartreuse isn't found in the water very much. And they say, I've never seen anything that color or that shape, and it's making a sound that we don't normally hear. You know what? I'm gonna eat it. Bam!
You're the dogs out there practicing for the trial.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. That looks like a
That might be something. Yeah, this is something, John. I think. Yeah. Yeah, there's some weight to this fish. Nice. Oh. Oh.
very nice. How's that, my friend?
Yeah. Let's do a still of that one. That's a beautiful, beautiful Georgia bass.
Proud of that one.
Yeah. And you see how softly he ate?
Yes.
There was no explosion.
Now he sipped it like a trout.
He did. Yep, he just came up and yeah. There he is. Yeah.
It was just like you were talking about.
Yep. Oh, that's another, look at this.
I can't get over the side.
That is
Bluegill.
spectacular. Oh my God. Yeah, these are some of the biggest I've ever seen. Wow. And they're eating the swimming frog. That's crazy. Yeah, there's no question. It for me, it's almost two separate things. Going fast. I just love boats. I'm a boat guy. I love boats. And I do like to go fast. I love getting my boat up on plane. Look at those things, man. This is ridiculous.
I begin to think our poor bass can't get to it quick enough.
That is unbelievable. This is what I came to Georgia for. Well, that and the good cooking and the southern hospitality and the Georgia pines, the red clay. There's something about Georgia. Georgia is not Florida. And Georgia is not Tennessee. Sounds like a pretty stupid thing to say, but you can look at a map and figure that out. But my point
I know what you're talking about.
point being is there's something special about Georgia. Finally, a bass that's smaller than the bluegill.
But just as pretty. I know he's small, but look at the belly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, friends, well, I just want to take a few minutes and run you through, as we often do, what I have here on the boat with me and the tackle and the flies that I'm using. And first and foremost, carrying on the boat with me, there was no real threat of rain, so I did not bring my waterproof backpack on the boat today. Of course, it's with me. But on the boat, I've got a bag we've told you a lot about most recently. I'm carrying this as my boat bag. I know a lot of our employees are, and of course Flip Pallet is, but this is the flip pallet leader luggage. And not only is it leader luggage, of course I have everything I need here to tie leaders for this situation. On the other side, I've got heavier spools of mono. But then on the inside of the bag, I can keep everything I'm going to need on the boat. I've got extra tippet spools. I've got a comb. Y'all know how I am about my hair. Hook sharpener. I've got needle nose pliers. I got a small pair of hemos. I do have fly floating. You want to carry fly floating with you when you're bass fishing for your deer hair bass bugs, which I love to fish. I've got sunscreen, I've got a nautical knife, and then the boomerang clippers, cutters. I can use these scissors to trim a fly. And then of course these things cut everything down to wire, so the boomerangs are always there. So everything I need, I can keep. My cell phone fits perfectly in the outside zippered pocket. I can even, I had a water in here the other day. So everything I need is right there in this bag, and it's super easy. Just a couple of fly boxes I brought on this particular trip. I didn't bring my, my big boat boxes that I would carry back home if I'm out in my Ranger bass boat. So I just kind of gathered up. I've got a subsurface box a surface box here and a subsurface box here. We'll talk about the flies in just a second. 6 weights. I've got 2 6 weights. I think a 6 weight and a 7 weight is perfect for bass. A 5 weight's a little light for throwing the size of bugs, and I think an 8 weight is just overkill for most bass fishing. So 6 and 7 is what I use. This happens to be my Scott Wave 9-foot 6 weight. I really like this rod. I've been fishing it for a couple years since the Wave came out. The reel, I have an Able Via on here, which is absolutely overkill. I just like these reels, and in fact, you'll see in the footage, I don't believe I have ever put a bass on a fly reel. I mean, you're always landing a bass by stripping them in. No reason to put them on the reel. They're not going to test a drag system, so any fly reel will work. You know how I feel about reels. Fly reels, all fly reels do the same 3 things. So it doesn't matter what your reel is. Just so happens I do like these Able Vias, but again, overkill. I'm trying out some new fly lines for Cortland. They have a new bass series out on the market, and this is the Bass Floater. It's very, very similar to Flip Pallet's High Vis line. I think they made the head a little bit longer, and it's a little more aggressive of a taper up front for throwing larger bugs. I like the line. It performed really well. I've been fishing for a couple of days here in Georgia, and I like the line a lot, but I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why you would make the head of the line green and make the running line orange. That doesn't make sense. We're going to have a talk, Cortland. The head of this line should be bright orange. I mean, you know, as we've talked countless times, fly line color doesn't matter to the fish. It matters to me, and I would have cast this line a lot better if that head was orange. Why you would need an orange running line, I have no idea. So anyway, sorry to be critical. It's a good line. It worked really well. It threw these bugs well. Then I also have a new rod that we've been playing around with from Echo, and this is the Echo 8.4B, 8 foot 4 inches. I did not love this rod for throwing floating lines, but it worked pretty well throwing a sinking line, or in this case, an intermediate line. The Echo 8.4B, 8 foot 4 inches, again a 6 weight, and I've got the other new Cortland bass line, and this is an intermediate head. It's camouflage, which is kind of cool, but not overly necessary, but it just looks cool, makes you feel cool. The line casts very well. I would probably, when I fish this rod again, I think this Cortland line is 1 line size heavy. I'd actually put the 7 weight, which would actually be an 8 weight. I would put the 7 weight on the 6 weight. It just wasn't quite loading this rod enough, deep enough into the rod. But once I kind of got the rhythm of it, it was working fine. I do like both of these Cortland lines. Good job, Cortland, with the exception of the backwards color on the floating line. So this is the Cortland Bass Intermediate. I like it. You might consider going up a line heavier on certain rods, especially if you're fishing these shorter bass kind of rods. Of course, my leader formula for contact fly fishing, it never changes. You have a 3-part leader formula. On the floating line, I went with about a 5-foot butt section. That butt section is, of course, determined by the tip of the line. It's not the diameter. I'm matching the stiffness of the butt section to the stiffness of the fly line. My tippet is, of course, matched to the fly. I was probably using 13 thousandths tippet, and then what you do with your 18-inch midsection is you split the difference diameter-wise. This is the leader formula that Flip Palette has been working on for a number of years now. I think we've finally got it perfected. So it's a simple 3-part formula. Make the butt section as long as you want, 18-inch transition, 18-inch tippet, 3 parts. Same thing on a sinking line. It's just that I go 2 foot of butt section, I go 1 foot of mid or transition, and I go 1 foot of tippet. Same story, match the stiffness on the butt, match the tippet to the fly and the fish, and split the difference diameter-wise on that midsection. Remember, on a sinking line or an intermediate line, I'm usually going no more than 4 or 5 foot on that leader. So, of course, on the sinking line, what fly was I fishing? You probably already know, the Swimming Jimmy. You know, back when I was guiding in the 2000s, the Swimming Jimmy produced some of the largest bass that I ever caught. In fact, the biggest bass I ever caught. If I told you how big it was, you'd call me a liar, especially in Ohio, but it was on a Swimming Jimmy. And then today, what happened? The biggest fish I caught today, which was a really, really beautiful Georgia bass, was on the Swimming Jimmy. I think it's one of the best bass flies ever created. I think it's one of the best fishing flies ever created. And then on the floating line, I was throwing also one of my old standbys, the Umpqua Swimming Frog. Just a fantastic pattern. It makes a great sound in the water. It dives just perfectly like a frog, leaves a great bubble line, just drives fish crazy, as you've already seen, and you'll probably see more here in this video. But that Umpqua Swimming Frog tore him up. And then another one of my favorites, a go-to, is Dave Whitlock's Fruit Cocktail. You know, we kind of switched over to the Fruit Cocktail after it got a little brighter this morning. The surface bite slowed down a little bit, so that Fruit Cocktail was making a little louder of a pop, pushing a little bit more water, hopefully drawing their attention from a little bit deeper, and did wind up catching a few fish on that. So, you know, I've got a bunch of different flies here in my box. I always try to experiment around. Of course, have to give an honorable mention to Blaine Chocolate's Game Changers and Jerk Changers from the Chocolate Factory. That may well be the best bass fly ever created, especially a jerk changer. And definitely over the course of the past few days have thrown some Game Changers and Jerk Changers. Just this morning I stuck to my 3 standby go-to, never be without bass flies, and of course they didn't let me down. So there you have it. As always, if you have any questions on setting up a proper bass outfit, you can give us a call at the shop or shoot us an email. We're always happy to help.
That didn't take long.
Did not. They like it, frog. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I could be talked into doing this again tomorrow morning.
I think I could be talking.
Yeah, without the camera. We just fish. Well,
Yeah, we'll still have it.
yeah, I probably still have a camera.
Nice job.
That's a starter.
Not for a trophy, but I guess a skunk off the boat.
That's right.
Beautiful fish, though.
Yeah, these are healthy bass. Yeah. My dad and I were fishing down in Louisiana one time, and we were in some real tight marsh, and this moccasin literally leapt out almost into the boat, but then he came to the back of the boat and was trying to get in. He was literally maniacally trying to get in our boat. And Eddie Adams was our guide, and Eddie immediately started kind of panicking a little bit, and we weren't sure whether the snake did get in the boat or not. So Eddie kind of got us out of that marsh a little bit, and my dad and I are looking around, Eddie's looking around, make sure that snake wasn't in the boat. So we came around the corner, came out of the tight marsh, and we were in this little bay area, and sure enough, here comes the snake right around the corner, coming straight at us, and was coming for the boat. He wanted to get in the boat. So the snake got about within the pole's length, and Eddie took his pole and just bashed that snake right on the head with his boat pole. It disappeared for a second under the water, and then turned around and headed back towards the marsh. Yeah, I don't know, man. And to me, this is some of the most fun and rewarding fishing that I get to do. I don't know what it is, John. There's a stigma associated with, if it's not trout, or in your case, if it's not a saltwater fish, if it's not a snook, a redfish, a tarpon. Yet you go to the conventional world, turn on the TV, bass fishing is a billion-dollar industry with conventional tackle, yet people turn their nose up at it with a fly rod. There's still that age-old, how many times do you talk to people and you tell them that you fly fish, you make a living fly fish, and they say, oh, well, I didn't know there was trout in Florida. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was trout in Ohio. Well, I love trout fishing. I love going out. I go out to Montana. Excuse me. I go out to Montana every summer. I do this trip up to Labrador for brook trout, New Mexico. I love trout fishing, but that's another. Look at that, John. Look at that. Oh my God. That may be. Look at him. That is a battle scarred. That, my friends, is
that's a trophy right there, Brian.
that is a trophy. You got your camera, your cell phone? Let's get a photograph of that.
Dual duty here.
Yeah. I can't get my hand around it. A personal best right there.
When they're big enough to eat a frog.
Oh, good Lord. That was something. So anyways, I don't know. It's a battle that Dave Whitlock fought for years. I know a lot of other people have been pushing warm water fishing. There's some folks in the Midwest, Mad River Outfitters included, you got Mike Schultz, you got a lot of people that are pushing warm water fishing, but it's still an uphill battle. You know, people just don't get overly excited about catching largemouth on a fly. But if we were trout fishing right now and we just caught whatever we've caught, eight largemouth so far, and they're all that's, if you're catching trout that size, there you go, the pause is the cause. If you're catching trout that size, you'd be beside yourself.
Yeah, and
you would have just
be standing in line to do it.
Yeah, you would just had one of the best mornings ever trout fishing. And I don't know, it's a battle that I'm gonna keep fighting, and that Mad River Outfitters is gonna keep fighting and keep pushing the warm water species, but especially fishing largemouth, because there's largemouth in 48 of the 50 states. They're easily accessible. They're usually managed by the states. You've got lakes and impoundments everywhere just full of largemouth. And it's just so much fun on a fly rod. And in essence, when you're throwing a bug, a popper or a frog like this, you're dry fly fishing. What could be better than catching a fish on the surface? So it's a battle that we're gonna keep fighting, and I think it's worth it. And I hope people really start to catch on and start chasing largemouth bass on the fly more often.
I think that big fish under that dock right there deserves a feeding.
I meant to do that.
It was a beautiful ricochet shot you did. Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah!
Yes! That was our boy. My boy.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Brian, I don't think you could ask for a better ending to there. Watching him peel out from under there to come eat that. Beautiful.
Okay, get a real good close up of that fly in his mouth.
Brian, buddy.
That's a trophy.
Nice job, my friend. Nice job.
Well, that's a wrap, friends. One heck of a morning bass fishing here in southern Georgia. I've got the bass thumb to prove it. And just can't say enough about the Ball family and W.C. Bradley Company for inviting us here to see this amazing place here in southern Georgia. And of course, thanks to you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned a little bit of something. Certainly you saw a lot of largemouth bass on a fly rod, one of my favorite things to do. So as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. Hit the like button, that just makes us feel good. And stay tuned. We've got a lot of fly fishing. And stay tuned. We've got a lot of fly fishing content coming your way. Thanks for watching.